The Palisades Fire is already the most destructive in LA history. Two of our correspondents, Jacob Soboroff and Katy, grew up there. Like so many others, they returned to find a heartbreaking scene.
Pacific Palisades, a Los Angeles neighborhood 20 miles west of downtown, is the epicenter of this week's disaster. More than 5,000 homes and structures destroyed. About 20,000 acres razed by the flames. And nearly 40,000 people ordered to flee for their lives.
I grew up in Pacific Palisades, and I've never seen anything like this. The whole town was gone as we knew it. This is the Palisades Public Library. It's still on fire. I brought my kids here, I don't know, in the last 4 or 5 months. With their library cards, they check books out of here. Look at the fire still burning in the roof.
Then I drove along the world-famous Sunset Boulevard.
To me, Sunset Boulevard is the heart of my community. There's not a single house left standing here. What do you do? What do they do? There's just never, ever, ever been anything like this.
One of my best friends grew up here in the Palisades, too. MSNBC anchor Katy. Here she is as a kid in the neighborhood. A heavy hitter, getting a jump on her career. We drove through streets filled with so many of our childhood memories and dreams. Growing up, we had fires, too.
Did you ever evacuate?
No, we never evacuated.
And that's what's crazy. It's like everybody thought in the event of a natural disaster, this area is untouchable.
They just thought fire would be contained before it ever got down here. Thankfully, it mostly was until now. And this is the most densely packed area in the Palisades.
Not a single house is left here.
If I was going home, I'd make a left on this street.
Why don't we go there? Was that your front door?
Yeah, and this was the living room. We put a Christmas tree in this corner right here. And behind that was a bathroom that my dad set up a dark room for me in because I loved photography.
Our nostalgia was short-lived. There's too much real misery here. Too many lives upended.
We just moved in 2 days before the fire. Do you know what you're going to do now? What were you able to get when you left?
Nothing.
Because you thought there's no way, right?
I was working really hard. I'm a couples therapist, and I was like working. I didn't know, and I came out and I saw a fireball, and I had to get out immediately.
Oh my God.
I grabbed. This is everything. I grabbed one painting.
Today I met Tanner Schaff. Tanner is from Minnesota, but happened to be visiting a friend when the flames engulfed the neighborhood. And then the house.
How are you doing? I mean, I think it's not an exaggeration to say you barely made it out alive.
I'm doing well. It was a bit overwhelming.
They fought the fire, but it was hopeless.
I'm a professional storm chaser. I have friends that firefight and give me a lot of knowledge, and I've been around some fires before, but nothing like this. Pretty much every house here got taken out.
I remember hearing you talk about the trees on fire. You could see the trees on fire. The thoughts that were going through your head at that moment when you realized we got to save our lives.
Yeah.
What was it like?
Just a sense of defeat.
They found themselves in an inferno.
Everything's on fire around us. You know, we're getting in his car. We're going down the street. It's thick. You can hardly see. And there was just kind of this just sombering feel in the car. You can't describe it.
Just nearby, Cafe Vita used to be at the heart of the community. Now it's a pile of charred rubble.
Oh my God. Look at this. This is just hard to believe, hijo.
Albie Fuentes has worked in Pacific Palisades for 34 years. I've known him almost as long.
What was it about this place that made it so special and made it so popular?
The enormous effort to make it like a second home, you know, for everybody.
What does it feel like to be here?
I have to cry so much, hijo. I have cried so much on these last days. It's so hard. It's so hard. It's so hard.
What are you gonna do, Albie?
Right now, as for many people suffering this tragedy, our immediate future is uncertain. I don't know.
When you cover these things, You always hear people talk about, I can't imagine it happening, to me, and this hasn't happened to me. But I look around the town, the neighborhood, the place that I grew up in. I talk to my friends who I spend so much time with on these streets, and it's hard to imagine what comes next and what happens next.
As the fire continues to eat away communities, you hardly dare think about the future. CAL FIRE Deputy Director Nick Schuler.
In my 26 years, this could be one of the top, most devastating fires I've seen.
What happens in a situation like this where the high school's destroyed, you got churches destroyed, you got the 2 supermarkets in the community destroyed? How do you come back from something like this?
They come back one day at a time.
I know it's hard for everybody, but let's keep our praise and let's keep our hopes and let's be together.
When we return, how residents of a unique community in L.A. are dealing with traumatizing loss while holding tight to what they do have left, one another. Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.